Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. This weekend it's going to be packed. We've got on Saturday, I believe on Fight TV, it says it's starting at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right.
Triplemania Regias 2021. 6 matches. Expect the unexpected, as Vince McMahon likes to tell Austin Theory. Expect the unexpected. Only real surprises there in AAA. This should be a blast.
Well, here's the thing. Everything's a surprise if you don't watch their weekly show.
Exactly. Which, look, man, 2022, I'm going to be all about AAA every single week, every single show. I'm pessimistic that's going to last more than a couple of weeks. This would be the interesting thing. If I do that, will the shows be even will they actually be more? Well, will Triplemania be more predictable? I kind of feel like they just do, man. Like every single opportunity they have, they just throw curveballs at you. They got trios titles. Guess what? There's only 2 of them. Like, what the heck, AAA? Lucha Blog the other day posted a picture of there was some sort of crate with a bunch of titles in it in Sammy Guevara's vlog, and there was just the Mega Championship in there.
Yeah, I saw that too.
AAA, man. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to be fun. No, unfortunately, Triplemania Reyes also is not going to be on Twitch as per usual because it's going to be on Fight TV.
Yes.
The individual who usually streams it on Twitch said, hey, if it's going to be available, I don't do that. So it's going to be there on Fight TV. I think it's $20.
$19.99, yep.
Either come out, hang out with us. You can chat with us, or without paying for the pay-per-view, or just plunk down $20. Watch along with us. Either way, it should be a blast.
It'll be a fun show.
And then, of course, on Sunday, we're going to do a live watch along, no recap afterwards, of War Games, which, we get to see what the first big blow-off show for, I know they did Halloween Havoc, but this is like their version of a takeover, I guess.
Yeah, it's pay-per-view, basically.
That's what it says.
It doesn't say takeover, that's the thing.
It doesn't say takeover, but it does say pay-per-view.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going to be doing a live watch along for that, which, it's 2.0. So there's probably there's some good matches. There's going to be some good matches.
There are. We're not doing any official predictions for it. We'll give our picks kind of, but during the show, we're not going to do picks for titles or anything. We're saving all that for January, right?
Yeah, we're saving all that stuff for January. The titles are locked. We're doing some new stuff. We'll talk about that more publicly once all the details are solidified. But speaking of which, yesterday on Friendo Club TV, which is the bonus Going In Raw episode that you get every Tuesday, we talked about where we were in 2021 and what changes we want to make to the show in 2022. What was the best idea for a name change that we had? What was it? Do we remember?
That wasn't Wrestle Farts?
I guess it was Wrestle Farts, yeah. But I still say that needs to be yours. You need to make that as the New Year's resolution, man. 2022, can you please launch that Wrestle Farts channel?
Maybe what I'll do is like what you do with the Face App stuff. I'll take classic wrestling clips and just add fart noises to it.
That would be huge. I would love that. You probably make a mint off that, by the way. So yeah, that's going on.
All right, that idea is out there publicly. If anybody steals it, this evidence was my idea.
Boom. I believe this is you claiming that is.
That's pretty much me trademarking and copywriting. That's my intellectual property.
That's legal, man. That's legal. So anyways, yeah, that's good stuff. And so we're going to talk about the final NXT before War Games and our predictions for how that show is going to go down in just a moment here. But first, I know we've all been waiting for this Vince McMahon documentary. This is supposed to be the greatest documentary in the history of mankind, or something like that. Didn't somebody say, "Oh, this should be absolutely just"?
Probably.
So I think like Louis Dango or something like that was like, "Oh, this is going to be the best documentary ever." Depending on how this thing goes down, how kayfabe it's going to be.
That's going to be
could be true.
It could be. So it was last October during one of their I think end of quarter financial calls that would be announced they are partnering with Netflix to produce documentary on the life of Vince McMahon. Since then, we haven't heard many details, but Stephanie McMahon spoke with Adam's Apple YouTube channel and revealed that we could be seeing it as soon as next year. These transcripts are from WrestlingNews.co. I can't talk today. Had too much coffee, I think. This is what Stephanie had to say. Quote, "It's scheduled currently to release next year in 2022. The timing is still TBD. I'm equal parts excited and equal parts really nervous about this documentary. I don't know what it's going to say, but it's going to capture his life and his story, which it so richly deserves to be told."
Can these people say 3 lines without telling a lie? I don't know what it's going to say, but it's going to capture his life and his story, which so richly deserves to be told. This documentary could be absolutely fascinating. Absolutely. Vince is a strange fella.
Or it could be, they could take the same approach they have with the Ruthless Aggression documentary.
Oh, that's what it's going to be. I'm just saying, if somebody endeavored to make an actual, if the Dark Side fellas endeavored to finally make their Thanos their end game, and it was just on Vince McMahon, like a 10-part docuseries on that. Oh my gosh. It could be absolutely shocking. But that's not what this is going to be. It still might be pretty interesting. I'm sure that Vince is probably going to throw him a couple bones because they're going to be like, okay, this can't be a whole fluff piece. Can you give us some stuff that we can work with here?
They'll throw in, I feel like, any sort of controversial things that Vince came out on the winning end of, like the steroid trial.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think anything like that, like the Monday Night Wars. They'll obviously have to talk about that, but of course, I'll talk about that from the perspective of Vince. He won, Well, I think what's
going to be maybe most interesting, and maybe they'll try to keep that to the truth, because it was a lot of business dealings, was his takeover of was nationalizing wrestling, was nationalizing WWF, and basically putting the territory system out of business, That could be really interesting. And I'm not sure. I'm sure there are probably all sorts of shady deals and shenanigans going on with regards to that, because there were a ton of territories that basically he put out. But his thoughts on transforming the industry and basically monopolizing it. I would imagine, being the uber capitalist he is, will probably be fairly unfiltered. That wouldn't shock me if he was unapologetic about what he did in the, back then.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But some of the more, potentially salacious things, that stuff is going to be buried under the rug for sure.
Yeah. I think save for the stuff where he came out, like, for example, the steroid trial. Obviously, they're going to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But any sort of maybe lesser reported or previously unknown stuff. Yeah. No, they're not going to touch that. Probably.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. It's definitely going to be an interesting watch, regardless of how much it's kayfabe or not. And if it ends up being, shockingly candid, great.
I'd be surprised.
Awesome. Yeah. I would be shocked.
Then it has the potential to be pretty good.
Yeah. But come on. I don't know what it's going to say. You guys know exactly. WWE's got they're not going to say anything WWE doesn't want them to say.
Exactly. Exactly.
Quid pro quo, man. You want our involvement? Guess what?
We get final cut.
Yeah, exactly.
We get complete approval of every aspect of it.
Yeah. This is going to be the closest thing to a Logan Roy documentary, man.
Well, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Paint Your Life, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays, they tend to make me it's sentimental.
Oh yeah.
Which is another reason I'm so happy that I got to get it off the wall.
Oh yeah, get that painting there. It's a beautiful painting. It's really
fantastic. It's fantastic. You see this fantastic portrait I got of you, me, Sid from Paint Your Life.
Yeah.
It really brings back some great, fantastic memories of our time at our old office.
Yeah, man. No, it's an awesome painting. It's great. I miss the office too. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes, kind of. But I'll be honest with you. I'm racking my brain right now trying to remember Sid ever being in our office, and I'm coming up with nothing. I kind of feel like
you don't remember that one time. There was that one time.
It didn't happen. It's fiction. You're wrong.
Well, we could just, I guess, we can remember things differently, but one thing I know we can agree on is that Paint Your Life makes it easy to get custom made, hand painted art on your walls. You just send them a picture and one of their world-class artists will hand paint. This is hand painted.
Yeah.
They'll hand paint you a portrait at an affordable price. I mean, look at this. Look at this incredible piece of art I got to remember some of the best times in the history of Going in Raw. And it took only about 3 weeks. So if you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for someone you love or for yourself, then check out Paint Your Life. This is fantastic.
Absolutely. At paintyourlife.com, there's no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded. Guaranteed. And right now, as a limited time offer, get 20% off your painting. That's right, 20% off and free shipping. To get this special offer, text the word RAW to 64,000. That's RAW to 64,000. Text RAW to 64,000. Paint your life. Celebrate the moments that matter most. Be very careful with that painting. It's precious.
Oh, I'm always careful with that painting.
All right, man. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Manscaped. So, Larson.
Yes.
As you said, it's the holiday season. So it's time to start thinking about what gifts you're going to give from Santa's sack.
And if you want to guarantee that the people in your life take care of their sack, then give them the gift of Manscaped, the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Their top-selling Performance Package 4.0 has what a guy needs to keep their package in tip-top shape. It includes Manscaped's Lawnmower Body Trimmer, the best trimmer for balls, butt, taint, or body, as well as the Weed Whacker Ear and Nose Hair Trimmer.
Yeah, those are great. Just fantastic products. But let's not forget about Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner. Those products help keep your undercarriage fresh and clean. And if you order a Performance Package right now, you'll get 2 free gifts, a pair of super comfortable Manscaped boxers and the Shed Travel Bag.
Or if you're looking for stocking stuffers, Manscaped has you covered with shampoo, body wash, cologne, even ball wipes to help keep your front area from getting too stinky. Whether you're shopping for your partner, dad, brother, or friend, get them a gift they'll actually use.
But make sure to hurry to get these gifts so they show up in time for the holidays. Right now, you can get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code RAW.
Again, get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code RAW. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. Anyways, so yeah, War Games is coming up. We had the Go Home episode of NXT 2.0. The episode was, I guess, fine enough.
I thought the first hour was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they focused on wrestling and advancing stories and ring. And I felt like the whole episode kind of came to a grinding halt with the Joe Gacy segment because it was long.
Mm-hmm.
It took forever to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they finally started with the wrestling aspect of it, like Diamond Mine came out. I don't know. I felt like that was far and away the least interesting part of the show.
Yeah.
And it really pumped the brakes on what was shaping up to be, I thought, a pretty decent episode. Like the opening match was awesome. The ladder match between Kaylee Ray and Dakota Kai, and the main event was really good too.
I thought the main event was pretty solid. That opener was really good. I agree with that. It's fine. Like, Legado del Fantasma versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. It
was fine.
It was
all right.
Fine. Yeah. I agree with the Joe Gacy. I'm generally a pretty big fan of Joe Gacy. I see what you're saying with that. I'm curious to get your thoughts on how that match is going to turn out.
Well, you want to just jump right into that? Well, we can talk about how we think War Games is gonna shake out.
Let's go ahead and do that. Absolutely. So first up, we've got Women's War Games. I kind of feel like, just given the level of competition here between this one and the men's one, the women's one is going to be the superior match. You got Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Kaylee Ray versus Dakota Kai and Toxic Attraction, Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. They're billing this one, I think, less as 1.0 versus 2.0. This is like just a lot of grudge match going on here.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like less about the future of NXT, although Toxic Attraction obviously is a big deal. I would have a hard time betting against Toxic Attraction, so I wouldn't do that. My pick right here is Toxic Attraction.
So Kaylee Ray, we'll get to the details here in a minute. She won the ladder match that opened this week's episode, so her team has the advantage. And you mentioned the pre-show that history tells us that if you have the advantage, you lose the War Games match.
And if you exclude the first match, which was like a 3-team affair, all the rest of them, if you have the advantage, you lose the match. Now, obviously, maybe this is the year they start bucking that trend. I don't know, but continue. It's not an easy pick.
No, it's not. It's not.
And Toxic Attraction has won a lot, but Cora Jade did get a win, a legitimate win
over Mandy Rose.
On Mandy Rose,
yeah, and then I'd probably go with Toxic Attraction, Dakota Kai. Although they could do a thing where Dakota Kai is just not working out with Toxic Attraction, that ultimately cost the match. But it's not like the other team is exactly a team that is known to work together well. There's some stories between everybody involved there, or a lot of them involved there. So, sure, Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai. Sure, they'll probably win.
I mean, it's a bigger celebratory moment if Raquel, Io. I mean, that's a pretty powered up team right there. You got Raquel, Io. Even if you take Cora Jade out, you got Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, Ray, all former champions. It's hard to bet against that, but also Kaylee. You got, like you said, all those sort of toxic chemistry issues, so to speak. Kaylee Ray is literally, her gimmick is Smash Room participant. Or Rage Room, whatever. Io Shirai literally doesn't like anybody. Yeah. And then Raquel Gonzalez has always been a bit of a lone wolf as well.
Yeah. But if we are doing confidence points, this would be the match I'd have the least confidence in.
I would, dude. I'll be honest. I have there's one match in here that I'm pretty sure I would have all my confidence points.
There's 2 I'm pretty confident in.
Oh, and then the other one. Yeah, okay, I get that.
One of them, this next one, is Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. All my confidence on Cameron Grimes winning.
My confidence.
He's already lost some hair. He trimmed up his beard. He cut his hair.
He's got the Shawn Michaels 2003 bob is what he's got now. Looks terrible. You either go short or you go long. You don't go in between. Not a great look, especially for him. Duke Hudson, he'll look the exact same. He loses nothing.
And then and 2 months from now, you won't notice any difference.
Right.
His hair will grow back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Within a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Duke Hudson totally losing this one. Cameron Grimes. Next, Imperium versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner for the tag titles. Imperium's totally winning this. Kyle O'Reilly's probably out the door.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if Von Wagner's young boy, Kyle O'Reilly, eats the pin here.
He takes Imperium's finish, and then
I mean, Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner have been on a bit of a tear. You don't think they're going to give him the titles?
No, because Kyle O'Reilly, is no guarantee Kyle O'Reilly is going to remain with the company.
Yeah, but if his contract, that's still another month before his contract would run out. Just take those titles right back off him.
No, Imperium's going to win this.
All right.
It's a good, strong win for Imperium.
I would hesitate to bet against Imperium as well. This next one is interesting because I feel like you have to put that title on Joe Gacy to make anything interesting out of the Cruiserweight Championship. But I don't know if they want to go that weird with it. So you got Roderick Strong, the champion from the Diamond Mine. And you got Joe Gacy. Of course, he's got Harland with him also, which is a pretty big equalizer,
Yeah, but Roderick's got the rest of Diamond Mine with him. He's got the Creed brothers, Ivy Nile.
Yeah, and they usually factor into matches.
Yeah, like all the time.
Joe Gacy is the kind of guy who can eat a loss and come up smiling and be happy with it. I mean, that's just sort of his character.
Exactly.
This should be probably the best straight up wrestling match on the card, though, because Joe Gacy is a hell of a wrestler. Obviously, Roderick Strong is probably a top 10 actual wrestler in WWE. So this should, as long if it's not too overbooked, the meat of this match should be killer. It should be really good.
It should. Yeah, I'm sure Joe Gacy wins. I don't know. That's why I'm happy we're not doing predictions for this, because apart from 2 matches, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of I don't know here. If I had to pick, okay, so I guess we can talk about this then. Channel points. My channel points would be My channel points would be on Joe Gacy, because right now, don't you just throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks?
Probably.
Although the Cruiserweight title is doing nothing. There's really no competitors for it.
No.
You put it on Joe Gacy. He makes it an open weight title. Give him a custom title. Mix it up a little bit there in NXT.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then finally, probably the main event, you got Team 1.0. That's Ciampa, Gargano, Peter Dune, LA Knight taking on Team 2.0. That's Braun, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo. So I've been saying for weeks, shoo-in the 2.0 wins. Been thinking about it more. No, 1.0 is winning.
I'm with you, man.
The story, this whole thing is 2.0. Sure, they're talented. They expect to be pushed to the top immediately without the benefit of experience. They mock those with experience, and they're going to be taught a harsh lesson that experience matters.
I don't see anybody cheering, going home happy if 2.0 wins this. And I do feel like you kind of got to do that. Everybody'd be very excited if 1.0 went. You know, they should do. They should have this be, hey, this match is for 1.0 or 2.0. If 1.0 wins, he goes back to the black and yellow.
Wow.
That would have been actually a really cool angle. Like, you could have kayfabed the very DNA of the show. Yeah. That could have been really neat. That being said, you also have a massive wild card out there in the form of Dexter Lumis. You know, Carmelo and Trick broke his hand, and so he's going to be a bit of a wild card here as well.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah, I know that, you know, Gargano could eat the pin if he is on the way out, which all signs seem to confirm.
I'll give you the name of the person who's eating the pin.
Wait.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah. I mean, dude, here's the thing. You've got Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo that could both easily eat a pin here. Although they do kind of protect Tony D'Angelo.
They do. I don't think he hasn't lost a match yet. So Grayson Waller's eating that pin. If 1.0 wins, Grayson Waller's eating that pin.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then I think that does lead, you know, this will probably be the experience that Braun Breaker needs to finally beat Tommaso Ciampa.
And like we saw in the match last night between him and Gargano, there was a couple times where Gargano lured him in.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just like Ciampa did.
Yeah. Did that with the ladder spot. Yeah. Totally.
The ladder spot and the slingshot spear.
Mm-hmm.
You lured him right in for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's the story they're running with the 2.0 guys, then you can even have Carmelo Hayes be the one member of 2.0 who, you know, he obviously has way more experience than anybody else on that team.
Yeah.
Try to walk them through that during the match, saying, no, let's do this. And everybody else, they're like, no, we don't need experience. We're young and talented and post on social media. We're going to grab that brass ring now. And despite Carmelo maybe saying, hey, listen to me, they don't, they lose. And that causes that could lead to some interesting stories between the 2.0 guys.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that 2.0 is kind of they're a ticking time bomb. So we're on the same page there. So once again, join us on the twitch.tv/Stephen Larson for War Games. It is an absolute shame that this year we did not get to hear.
I know, no Regal
this year. What a bummer. Anyways, before we get to our NXT 2.0 recap, I want to give a quick thanks to our new patrons over at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. So we have if you listen to this in the audio realm and you're interested, if you're like, hey, you know, I love going in Raw, but I'm not huge on sitting through ads for stuff, which, you know, we use to pay the bills around these parts. But we do have an option. If you don't want to hear Going in Raw with ads, you can listen to the show without ads over at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. $5 a month gets you not just a show ad free. It also gets you both bonus episodes that we do every single week, ad free as well. And if you don't care about the bonus stuff and you're like, yeah, $5 a little steep, but $3 would be good. We have a $3 option, but that's at goinginraw.supercast.tech. You can get the show ad free there as well. So for $3 a month. Quick shout out here to Ryan Gorman, Tomas Michalski, and Soken Rose for Red Hand John and Irish Bengal for your support over there on the Patreon. And I do also have for those watching us on the YouTube that are new YouTube channel members or have re-upped your membership. Chris Cowley, Scotty Furness, Wyatt Robinson, Trailer Park Icons, Alyssa Leggett, and Jacob McDonald. Thank you very much for re-upping your YouTube channel membership.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it here at Going In Raw.
Let's get into this recap here. So the show opened up with you got EO's team and then Toxic Attraction, Dakota Kai. They're like both walking through the backstage area of the CWC. They meet on the ramp. They start fighting each other. Brawl breaks out.
Yeah.
And that leads into the first bout of the evening. Kaylee Ray, Dakota Kai ladder match. Determined who gets the advantage. You got War Games. Hell of a bout.
Oh yeah.
A lot of really fun spots.
Yeah.
You got that bit where Kaylee Ray is looking for the gory bomb on the floor. Dakota Kai escapes that. Hits like a spinning DDT type thing, sending Kaylee Ray into the corner of the ring steps. Ow.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then eventually Kaylee Ray ends up flinging Kai into the ring steps, hits a suicide dive, hits like a forward reverse suplex type deal on the ladder. Kai starts working over Kaylee Ray's knee. They go out to the floor. Kaylee Ray hits a gory bomb on the announce table. Kaylee Ray climbs the ladder. Kai knocks her off. Kaylee Ray grabs Kai by the foot, and then Dakota boots her off her foot and then hits a double stomp off the ladder.
That was rough.
Great.
That was awesome. Yeah, that
was great. The finish saw Kaylee Ray kind of trap Dakota Kai in the ladder, trap her feet underneath one of the rungs, hits a super kick, climbs, gets the briefcase. Her team has advantage.
Yep. Which you would think maybe would mean that they're going to lose. And Toxic Attraction, they're a big deal right now.
They are, but I could totally see this going either way.
Either way,
1000%.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. After that, we had an Andre Chase Matt Chat question in the form of his Twitter promo. He says Grimes tried to embarrass him. He's not going to stand for it. Grimes is going to catch a Chase University ass whooping.
Yeah. So we get grizzled young veterans in the locker room. They're trying to break into somebody's locker.
Okay. That's terrible, but God damn it, Jacket Time makes me laugh. Jacket Time really makes me laugh. I was cracking up at this last night. I wanted to watch it again. It was funny.
So Gibson tells Drake, "You're on lookout. I'm going to handle the operation." So literally, Drake is looking in one direction. Ikemen Jiro walks in, and Gibson's like, "All right, come on, be quiet. It's a very sensitive operation." So he starts shushing him. Shh.
Yeah.
And Jiro starts to shush him back. Shh.
Yeah.
And then Kushida walks in,
and he keeps on repeating, "Sensitive operation." Sensitive operation.
And so Briggs and Jensen come in. They say, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And Grizzled Young Veterans, they get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And the Jacket Time shushes them.
Sensitive operation.
Very sensitive operation, yes.
Oh, man. It is one of those things. You got to see it to appreciate it. After that, we had Andre Chase versus Cameron Grimes. Grimes gets the win here.
He made quick work of Andre Chase.
This was a really fast match. I love Andre. This dude can eat all the losses in the world. As long as they keep on doing those vignettes where he's yelling at people, I'll continue to like Andre Chase. I think he's pretty great. Excuse me. So Grimes hits a cave-in for the win. Duke Hudson shows up on that 2.0 perch. Congratulates him on his final victory with a full head of hair. He says, he had a guy put together some photoshops of what he'd look like with no hair. Now, Larson, just yesterday, in the morning, over at Wrestle Juice, I posted an NXT 2.0 face app video where I did the same damn thing. Bald with mustaches is my thing. And now Duke Hudson shows up. He shows up. Hold on. Don't interrupt me. He shows up. Just stop. Don't interrupt me, please.
It's about to put you over, but I guess I won't now.
They stole my gimmick, man.
Well, here's the thing. You use an app on your phone to do that, and the results of those are way better than this guy who apparently photoshopped this stuff.
Yeah, what the hell?
These photoshops did not look good.
Yeah, man.
They look bad. They look very bad. They were all terrible. Anyways, Duke tells Grimes, "I'm going to give you a real reason to cry on Sunday." And then Grimes throws Chase back in the ring, goes under the ring, and there's like a plastic storage container, goes in there, gets some clippers, goes into the ring, and then one of Chase's students, the dude with the long blonde hair, pulls Chase out of the ring. Grimes is about to cut Andre Chase's hair. So then Grimes grabs a mic, tells Duke, I'm going to shave you bald at War Games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Duke is not really fit for these comedy gimmicks. I think he really he plays everything so straight, which sort of has its own absurdist comedy in its.
Yeah, but it seems to be an ill fit for what NXT 2.0 is trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I know. I agree totally. He's over it, dude. He's like, I thought I was going to excel at 1.0.
He was on main roster for a bit. He was in a tag team with Shane Thorne with MVP as their manager.
That was literally like
a week and a half.
Yeah, it was like a week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's great. Anyways, after that, we had an Idris. How do you pronounce his last name? I didn't catch it. Enofe, I believe. So, Amped Up Wrestling down in SoCal. That's where this dude comes out of. He did apparently the Vegas tryouts, and now he's on TV.
Wow. Man, that was fast.
I know, right? But no, they had a big send-off for him. Shout out to Amped Up Wrestling.
Yeah,
dude who runs it, if I'm not mistaken, is a friendo.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
down there in SoCal. Because me and the Enforcer were watching, and I was like, because I'm following this guy on Instagram, and I didn't know why. Because I was like, okay, so I noticed because I'd noticed he was on 205 last week, and I was like, what's going on with why am I following this person? He's just a new 2.0 guy. And I was like, and then I started putting two and two together last night. I was like, and me and Enforcer at the same time. And Enforcer's like, wait a second, I know this guy. I'm like, yeah, he was amped up. He's like, yeah, I'm amped up. So
that's cool.
I love seeing, man, you go support your indie wrestling, and you never know. Within a couple months, you might see your dude in 2.0 or AEW Darker Elevation.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That was what, 3 months?
Right? Yeah,
3 months.
Talented guy.
Yeah, that's great. So after that, we have all a Team 2.0 in the ring for an interview. Mello says, you're looking at the future of WWE. Says Gargano has done it all. Won huge matches, so on and so forth. But Carmelo, is the A-champ. Because then when he shoots, he doesn't miss. Grayson Waller's next. He says all the hot dog and a handshake guys want them to come in and carry their bags, tie their boots. Instead, all the 2.0 guys slap them in the face and put it on social media because that's what a good sports entertainer does in 2021, and then talks a bunch of trash about LA Knight. Next up is Braun Breaker. He says Ciampa comes out, calls him a puppy, throws out some math references, keeps talking about how he's going to drown in his own inexperience. He preaches about his 17 years of experience. Says if you want to overlook Team 2.0, that's fine. They're winning on Sunday. And then after he does that, he's coming for that NXT title.
This dude, Braun is so looking past War Games. He is so, even like when Waller was talking right before Waller got done with his, and Braun was just like, okay, it's my turn to talk now. I want to talk now.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, champ, I'm coming for your title. I don't care about War Games.
Again, inexperience. Trying to rush through everything.
Yep, you got to soak in the moment because it's not about wins and losses.
It's about wins and learns. So Tony D'Angelo is next. He says those four guys on Team 1.0 paved the road we're walking on to War Games, but that road has got a bunch of potholes, and we're going to fill those potholes with their heads.
It's pretty violent, huh?
It is very violent. Yeah. So he's coming for Pete Dunne this Sunday. They're going to bring their best because they're going to need it. And then Braun is announced as the competitor in the ladder match. He says he'll gladly fight. Then he's interrupted by Gargano. He says these 2.0 kids live in a fantasy land. They're out there talking about how they're going to beat Team 1.0. But if it wasn't for guys like him, John Gargano, they wouldn't have a ring to stand in. And they want to bury all that. Well, they're going to get that opportunity tonight. It starts with you, Braun, the big bad booty nephew himself.
Hey, can they just goddamn call the guy Steiner?
I know.
That shit's going to get old. It's already starting to get there.
I know. So Gargano says, I'm not here all by myself. He says, how about you show the people that you're a real man? Leave your team in the back tonight. People want to see a one-on-one ladder match with the two of us. And Braun says, fine, I'll leave my team in the back tonight, and I'll gladly kick your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was weird because then he just started ripping a promo on Ric Flair. I was sort of out of place. He's a butt sucker. Nobody's as big as jackass. I'd slept with all the wives of the people in the locker room. Whoa, Braun. Channeling your uncle there. Anyways, that didn't happen. But what did happen next was a Legado del Fantasma interview. Joaquin Wilde says, we've already beaten Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Raul's like, no excuses, man. Rope, no rope. No excuses for them. And Santos says, Santos, by the way, looked like a really jazzed up preacher man. His outfit was awesome. It was so great. He says, fellas, go out there and write your next chapter. And then Elektra Lopez says, after War Games, they're going to be draped in gold. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, they won't, because they didn't even win this match last night.
These guys lose constantly. It's sad because they look outstanding.
They're great.
They are.
They're great.
They're great wrestlers. They look amazing. Elektra looks like $1 million. Santos looks like $1 million. That cape that Joaquin was wearing, oh my God. But then they don't win any matches ever.
I know. It's kind of lame. It's kind of lame.
Yeah.
We're back with MSK. They're on the road. They're driving to meet the Shaman. And they're having a conversation. And their GPS chimes in. He calls Nash Carter a dipshit.
Yeah, that was shocking.
Yeah. And like, did you just call me a dipshit? Yeah, dipshit. They reached their destination. He says, that's the GPS says, you've reached your destination. It's only taken you 5 weeks. Your destiny is inside. And then Wesley tells the GPS, better watch its ass. And the GPS tells him to watch his ass.
Yeah.
He's getting upset. They eventually get out of the car. They're going to see the Shaman. They walk up to a door. Nash Carter is nervous. He wants Wesley to knock. Wesley does. The door opens. There's a bunch of purple light, smoke in this room. You see the silhouette.
You see the boots. You see the silhouette
of this individual. We probably will know who he is come War Games.
I'm thinking at War Games they're probably going to do the final thing, and it's
the RVD.
It's got to be RVD, right?
Yeah, you think it's got to be RVD.
Oh, that'd be so great. Hopefully Katie Forbes shows up too. She's terrific.
Yeah.
After that, we had Legado del Fantasma versus Von Wagner and his young boy Kyle O'Reilly. At a certain point, Zion Quinn walks to ringside. NXT rolls on. Lopez steps to Quinn. They circle each other. Then he attacks Santos. They brawl in through the crowd. Meanwhile, there's a match happening.
Yeah.
Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly hit their finisher. They've hit the old Redragon finisher.
Yeah, the high-low.
The high-low thing, yeah,
to get the win.
Yeah,
so they will face Imperium.
They really do need to get like a replacement young boy for Von Wagner when Kyle O'Reilly leaves, because he's still really kind of like, he doesn't know how to be a big man, you know? Like, I think he needs to slow it down. He sees all these little guys running so fast and stuff, and I think Von Wagner tries to keep up. And I'm like, dude, you're a big man. Just lumber about, you know? Act big.
Well, that's what Karrion Kross did, and you didn't like it.
Karrion Kross Von Wagner's bigger than Karrion Kross, though.
Yeah, he is. He's taller.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I probably still wouldn't like him. I'm just saying it'll be better if you like it. Could you imagine if Karrion Kross did try to keep up with the smaller guys? It'd be terrible.
I think he did. No. I think he did try.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I didn't like him. He didn't lumber about enough. I don't know.
Oh, he wanted him to be more lumbering.
Don't use my past against me, man.
What good am I then?
What good is this 25 years of chemistry if you can't bring up that shit?
Exactly. After that, we had an Imperium interview. They start talking in Italian and German, but Bartel says, all right, let's give these people a chance to understand what we're saying.
Yeah, I thought they had subtitles. Can you just bring back the subtitles?
I know, that was like the thing. It's like all these weeks we understand everything you're saying because the subtitles show up as soon as the words leave your mouth.
Right. Like, just bring that guy back. The guy who knew you were going to say before you said it.
Yeah, or the guy who's just like such a fast typer can translate words you don't even say.
Maybe other like TV channels, like bigger programs, caught on to how great their subtitle guy was. And they're like, oh man, this guy's amazing. He
could predict exactly what they're gonna say.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, he's like, it doesn't matter that there's nobody. I assume he's gonna say that's gonna beat them, but he gets interrupted by Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Kyle O'Reilly says, we bounce back, and now this team of misfits is one win away from becoming champions. It's not going to happen, Kyle.
Yeah, and then Von Wagner calls them dumbasses. This dude. Oh, man. I don't even know where to start with Von Wagner. I really don't. Like, that's the best he can come up with? Yeah, we're going to win, dumbasses. Come on, man. Put a little bit of fucking effort into it.
You know what? I'll say this. Remember Baron Corbin was such a terrible trash talker at NXT? Awful.
Yeah, but he was even better than this, though.
I don't know. Go revisit that match he had against Apollo Crews at TakeOver London.
Yeah.
Awful trash talk.
Yeah, but was his promo that? Like when he was actually on a mic? Was it that bad?
Yeah, he wasn't a good promo in NXT either.
Give me a shot. Well, that was pre-NXT. Anyways, I'll have to go back and revisit. Maybe for Smash, though, I'll revisit some old Baron Corbin.
Oh, that's a good idea. Good idea.
Anyways, after that, we had Joe Gacy versus Roderick Strong video package, and then another one of these Tiffany Stratton video packages. I do appreciate that for somebody who's supposed to be very pristine and sort of a bourgeois, if you will. The shot where it shows like her legs walking, she has like a giant rotted scab on her knee. No doubt from wrestling training, because, you know, these wrestlers get pretty beat up. Yeah. But she's like walking. It's like supposed to be like a Paris Hilton, and she has like this rotted, gnarly, zombie flesh-looking scab on her knee. Jeez, Tiffany.
Yeah. Then we get the Joe Gacy inclusive invitational. So he says, I'm standing here, and this is the future of the cruiserweight division. This is what it's going to be. They believe that the reign of the current champion, Roderick Strong, has created a toxic, unrealistic environment for the NXT universe and all competitors. Said in the world of Joe Gacy, this division will no longer require a height requirement. It won't allow weight shaming. It won't allow gender bias to stand in the way of progress. So tonight, I've invited 3 competitors to give, so each of them give him their best as he prepares to defeat Roderick Strong at he's about to say War Games, and pauses, and then says conflict resolution. So Gacy has his first match against a dude who would be a cruiserweight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And pins the dude pretty quickly after a doctor bomb, I believe. He grabs the mic, says...
Well, let's just pause really quick. I do appreciate, because I know you said that this sort of segment just sort of dragged everything down, and I don't disagree. I think the pacing... I like the idea of the segment. I think that it could have been executed just in a more snappy fashion.
Yeah, the thing with Gacy, though, is his promos are never snappy.
No, they're not, and they need to watch out with that because they are getting laborious. But I do really love that Gacy's whole thing is he gets in there, and in all of his matches, he starts out, and this is why I love that he's just basically a flim-flam man, right? He starts out, and he tries to practice what he preaches. But it never lasts long at all, because within moments of him trying to keep it like mat-based sort of exhibition style, he just goes off. So like he's the first, 3 minutes of the match is like him, and he's like, he does the mat-based stuff, and he sort of backs off when he has an opportunity to like lay a dude out. But then when he's like, man, this just isn't really working and it's not going as fast as I want it to, he just starts doling this guy out some nasty ass blows. And I love when he goes hardcore like that. His offense is explosive. It's so much fun to watch. It's so aggressive. And that's what I really like about him is like, man, this guy is so transparently a dick that like he tries to like put up this sort of illusion of
facade.
This facade. But the subterfuge doesn't last because then he just starts blasting through people. And I like that about him.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of his character. The promo stuff, I always feel like is so uneven. Like there's some aspects of it or some segments that are solid, and there's some that's like, this is just going in circles,
He's
it's so slow.
He made his point already like 2 weeks ago, and it's just repetitive. And it's like, just get to the invitational aspect of it. And the commentators, as it happens, can explain, hey, because it's self-explanatory.
It really is. It really is. So next, so there was a dude he beat in the first match who would, you'd think prototypical cruiserweight.
Yeah, small.
And they didn't say the names of any of these competitors, so my apologies. There's one dude who's a super heavyweight, and there's a woman from the women's division.
I forget her name. She spent some time in AEW though.
Yeah, she looked familiar.
Yeah, it was maybe somebody in chat will have her name.
All right, so she's next. And right as they're about to lock up, Malcolm Bivens and Dynamite come out. Bivens says, Joe, you didn't need to create the spectacle, but you know what's missing? Legitimacy. So how about fight a legit fighter like Roderick Strong, like the Cruiserweight champion? Bivens continues. It says Gacy has told everyone they're witnessing history tonight because this will be the first and last Gacy inclusive invitational on Sunday. Dynamite is going to shut you up for good. And then Gacy tells Bivens there's no need for their aggression. He says, leave your people outside and allow me to have a word with Roderick Strong person to person. So Roddy and Bivens gets in the ring. Bivens says, Gacy, you've messed up now. Gacy asks Roderick Strong if he always allows Bivens to speak for him. And Strong says, I'm done with the talking. He decks Gacy. A melee breaks out. Gacy ends up hitting his handspring clothesline on Roderick Strong and then getting out of there.
That handspring clothesline is like one of my favorite moves right now too. It's especially when there's like a whole brawl breaking out and all of a sudden this dude pulls out it looked great.
He can maneuver through there. I know.
It was Tesha Price. So she's been on NXT before and she's also spent some time in AEW's the Dark and Elevation, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that name rings a bell. After that, we had a Solo Sikoa interview. He has a match against Idris Enofe tonight. Talks about that. And he says that Enofe is about to step in the ring with the street champion of the island. And then Boa walks in like he has heartburn.
I loved it because that's exactly what we were saying too. He looked like he was in desperate need of some Pepto, and he's like speaking his language. And Solo's like, "Dude, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying." And but clearly he's being affected by the powers of Tien Shaw.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Indy and Persia are backstage. They get a phone call. It's a call from the hospital.
Hold on. We get the Solo Sikoa
the actual match happens.
Match is next. Yeah. It's for some reason Robert Stone watches from the foot of the ramp. I don't know why he comes out.
Oh, dude, so he's scouting Idris Enofe.
He's got his
Palm Pilot.
His Palm Pilot or whatever out. It's got the stylus in one hand.
Probably an Android. You know why? Because he's a big dummy.
Do you really want to get into that again?
No. It's NXT. Nobody watches this show.
That's a fair point. They might be interested in the Vince documentary, though. You never know. So anyways, Enofe had a strong showing. In the end, though, he misses a 450. Solo hits a splash to get the win. And then Boa, as soon as like the 3 count is called, Boa's there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he's attacking Solo. Enofe tries to make the save. Yeah, Boa takes him out too.
And then they end up sort of having a little moment, Enofe and Solo Sikoa. They sort of, head nod a little bit. Tag team in the future, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not.
The more I see a Solo, the more I like him.
Oh, I love Solo Sikoa.
His promos are good.
Yeah, man. If they give him that freaking chip on his shoulder, because he's like, the solo guy of the island, there's so much you could mine there.
Mm-hmm.
You could mine there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, then we get the Indy phone call thing.
Yeah, so anyway, she gets a call from the hospital. The doctor says Loomis is gone. He's just disappeared, and she's all freaking out. And Persia's like, look, if you're going to have to do what you did 2 weeks ago, she says, am I going to have to do what I did 2 weeks ago? And Indy's like, no, I got this. It's fine. We'll tag up. Mm-hmm. And she's okay. Our match is next. Let's go. But in the background, there's a lady sleeping on the couch in her pajamas and like an eye mask, and she sort of wakes up and then she sleeps. She gets back down. It's Mei Ying. They're rebooking Karen Q. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I forget. Right. I think the name was out there somewhere. I forget. What
I kind of remember that too.
But seemingly a completely different guy. It'd be great if it was just Mei Ying.
Yeah. Or maybe she'll wake up and then that whole storyline was but a dream.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Wendy Chu. So White Brownie says Wendy Chu is going to be her name.
Okay, that sounds familiar. Then we got Zion Quinn. He's in the parking lot. He has a brief little interview, and then he walks up to Elektra Lopez. And then she tells him, I wish you wouldn't mess with Legado, but I respect someone who marches to the beat of their own drum. Wish you luck in your match against Santos.
Yeah, and then Zion's like, oh. And then he goes to
I did like that because he takes a step and then looks around at the parking lot to make sure they're not there to attack him.
And then he gets in his Karrion Kross Damian Priest Black Challenger.
That must be property of NXT car.
Yeah, it's like, okay, who's going to be like the cool badass guy? We'll give him the Black Challenger.
Yep.
All right. After that, we had Indy and Persia versus Yulisa Leon and Valentina Feroz. Indy immediately is distracted, but in this case, it didn't really matter because we're dealing with a couple jobbers here. So Leon and Feroz get the upper hand because Indy gets distracted. Mm-hmm. She gets the tag into Persia, though. She goes on a run and hits Leon with the TKO for the win.
Yeah, it looked kind of like a TKO. Then we had a Draco Anthony video package. This was actually filmed pretty decently.
Yeah.
He was sitting in, looked like a diner with a cup of coffee. He had a voiceover to go with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I don't know anything about this guy. But, that's cool. Bring in some new blood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then we had our main event, Johnny Gargano versus Braun Breaker. And yeah, like you said, a lot of this was John using his experience to trick Braun into doing what he wants him to do. There was a lot of great moments, though. You know, you can tell Johnny was sort of like guiding the match, but there are a lot of really cool spots. The part where Braun had the ladder on his on his head, and he had like Johnny on it. That was great.
Yeah. There was some fun stuff. The two bits, I think we mentioned them earlier, where John really kind of lured Braun in, was he got back on the apron acting like he was really selling just to get Braun to charge him so he get an apron spear or a slingshot spear, and then later on there's a ladder set up in the corner, baits him in so he get a drop toe hold into the ladder set up in the corner. Then we mentioned that spot where Braun was looking for the press slam with the ladder. Instead, John escapes, hits a pair of super kicks with the ladder still around Braun's head, and Braun flings the ladder back as he takes a knee, and then throws a middle finger at John, acting pretty defiant. John destroys him. That third super kick was stiff.
Oh, yeah.
So Braun eventually drives Gargano into the corner. It puts Gargano on the top rope. They're trading some strikes. Braun hits the Frankensteiner. He goes for his finish. Johnny reverses that into a DDT. So Gargano's climbing the ladder. Braun's climbing the opposite side. Johnny, again, kind of lures him in. Bang, hits him in the head with the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
So Braun falls to the mat. But he's back up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Gets up. He yanks Gargano off the ladder and pretty seamlessly right into his finish. That was a pretty cool spot.
It looked awesome. Yeah, it really did.
And so Braun climbs, gets the briefcase. So I guess if one thing, he got lured into some situations that benefited Gargano, but Braun seemed to bounce back from those situations a lot quicker than he did against Ciampa.
He did. Yeah. And as long as we tell the story of Braun learning how to figure it out, then I'm all in on him getting that championship. I mean, it seems kind of obvious that he's the guy.
Yeah.
But I think that's great. You know, you tell a little story to get him to the top, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Exactly. And the show closes out with the brawl between Team 1.0 and 2.0.
Yeah, they took that right to the finish.
Yep.
So anyways, let's go ahead, and I'll see if there's any. I posted up the question thread here on Patreon a little bit on the late side, but we'll go ahead and see. We've got one here from David Matushek saying, do you think that Vince's vision for the future of any NXT wrestler also hinders any prospects to make it to the big time? I honestly don't think that Vince has much of a vision for anybody in NXT. I think he has probably like a general direction or directive, like, hey, big guys, athletes, we're not pulling from the indie ranks anymore. And then you develop them. When we get them to main roster, we'll just do whatever we want with them, and there will be no continuity between NXT and main roster, because that is not a priority for him at all.
It doesn't seem like it. No, you'd think that would be one of the benefits of taking the approach they have, which is they're kind of building them from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do it that way, they're at NXT, they develop their own brand, potentially their own following. So when they come to the main roster, to a certain degree, they're a known commodity.
Yeah, honestly, it seems to be the one thing that they just don't care about. Like, that is such a low priority for them.
It's so bizarre.
I mean,
it's one thing for the company to not acknowledge really wrestling outside of WWE, but you'd think they'd at least acknowledge wrestling under the WWE umbrella.
It's a weird thing where
so often they don't.
They don't consider their hardcore fan base. I kind of understand. They understand that the hardcore fan base is going to put up with anything, because they're the hardcore. Even this week, White Brownie says NXT. I'm actually kind of surprised that NXT 2.0's ratings haven't just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's at 637,000, which is a pretty good number for them, and a 0.18, which is up in the demo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the philosophy is the hardcores are going to stay, so it doesn't really matter if we cater to what they want to see, which I would think is some continuity. You know, the hardcores love the Easter egg stuff. The vast majority of people who watch the MCU stuff won't catch all the little Easter eggs in it, but they do appreciate the crossover stuff. I think in Vince's head, he's like catering to the 2+ million that watch SmackDown. That's what he cares about. And it's like, well, I don't really have time to like be booking them all the way from NXT. So once they come here, we're just going to rebook them.
But you think, at least especially for inexperienced performers, there's a benefit to spending time in NXT, learning, developing your character, so that by the time you get called up, you know that character, and you know how to perform, that character. Then you get called to the main roster, and they're like, "No, this is who you are now." You kind of have to start all over.
I agree.
And you're hamstringing people who get called up. And I get from the perspective of your hardcore audience is going to watch NXT. You get your 600,000 plus or minus 20,000 basically every week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to, it doesn't seem like it has to be a mutually exclusive thing. You could have your cake and eat it too. It just takes someone from the main roster side of things giving some basic directive to people NXT about, all right, we like this guy. Let's try this. Yeah. You work on that. There's someone who oversees it. If they're and they report to Vince. If Vince isn't into it, guess what? You adjust course in NXT rather than after they get called up.
Yeah, dude, look, I don't disagree with you. I just think that if it's so unimportant to Vince, why would he bother? It's so unimportant.
If NXT was so unimportant to Vince, then we'd still have NXT 1.0. He wasn't happy with the talent that NXT 1.0 was producing for him, so he hit the reset button on it.
He didn't like the raw meat. He didn't like the raw meat. I think that's what it was. He didn't like the raw meat. He wants better raw meat. He doesn't want bad cow. He wants good cow. That's all. That's all I can think of. Look, you know me. I'm totally with you. I love the great call-ups, but those are so far in the past. It just seems obvious at this point where it's like you always have to think whatever they're doing. You have to think so much more simpler. You know, yeah. It's like, okay, they're not looking. It's like they're just doing this week to week, even main roster, but it's week to week. You know, they're not looking at, oh, well, let's get some continuity here because they just still don't think that wrestling fans care about that. It's just a disconnect.
Well, guess what? They're wrong.
You'd be wrong. Yeah.
You'd be wrong. Jonathan says, how long until Braun wears the chainmail? How cool would it be if he had the chainmail on coming out for his entrance for War Games?
All the cool. It'd be amazing. It'd be fantastic.
Not going to happen, though.
Let's see here. King CDM says, have you ever been so conflicted with what you think is going to happen to progress the story in wrestling as a whole, but want the opposite to happen so bad? He says, I think NXT 2.0 is going to win because I'm sure Vince is in a rush, but I want 1.0 to win so much. So I kind of disagree with the fact that Vince is in a rush necessarily. I think, yeah, like the transition was really quick. But Braun didn't win against Ciampa in that first match. That would have said a lot. And I think that I think Shawn Michaels, whoever's in charge, is trying to tell a story here. And so I do think that an NXT 1.0 win is probably going to play into that. But if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be shocked either.
Prime Joy of Bearding, not NXT related, but WWE edited out Liv's line about releases. What's the point of having shoot promos if you are then going to edit it out?
It had a really bad reaction.
Yeah.
And so they took it out is the only thing I can think of. But again, it's one of those weird things where it's like, man, do you think Vince wouldn't care about that? But I don't know. It's always the weird thing about what does the right hand know? What is the left hand doing?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Metal Nerve says, I like Tesha Price's story on Dark. She turned heel and got more aggressive because she was losing matches. It was simple and subtle, but it was working for me.
Yeah, now her story is she's hanging out at NXT. Shane's birthday tweet, are Malcolm Bivens and Robert Stone the most underrated managers in wrestling? They've saddled...
I kind of feel like... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say they saddled Bivens with an uninteresting group. So he's underutilized.
That's the word I was going to use, underutilized, yeah.
Robert Stone has been perpetually underutilized, yeah. I thought that Stone stuff with Rhea Ripley was really good back in the day.
Yeah, like he's like both of them are really funny.
They're really talented.
Really funny,
yeah.
And really talented, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of potential for both of them in WWE. It just feels like they're just getting stuck with bad creative.
Mm-hmm.
White Brownie, if 1.0 does win at War Games, who would be next for Ciampa? Probably someone on Team 1.0 as the next contender.
Okay. So they wouldn't go straight to Braun from that?
No, I don't think so.
Because Braun would be like, I didn't lose that match. The other guys did. Ric Flair lost that match, not me.
Tronin, do you think you could book all of WWE's roster to be as interesting and as fun as AEW?
Yeah, we did it before. It was called We Book Raw.
We Book Raw.
It was our 2K18-19 series, and it was probably the best thing that's ever been on the internet. And we did it.
If not the best, one of.
Look, man, we had a tag team called Finn Too Deep.
Yeah, it was two Finn Balors.
It was two Finn Balors, and they were called Finn Too Deep, like in too deep.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Come on, that's just one fucking idea we had, and we did it. It was great. It was proof positive. It was great. Aleister Black was the Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
Writes itself.
Yeah.
Writes itself. It was great. Drew McIntyre was nude.
Yeah, he wore tights that were flesh colored, but then he had the front area pixelated.
Yeah, people get mad when Vince changes Ricochet. Yeah, we changed him to warp speed, and then Mustafa Ali was light speed. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were awesome.
They had a feud.
We had like 3 Sasha Bankses.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a space time warping technology.
Rawgate, yeah.
Rawgate.
And we kind of predicted the new, more like kind of Chill Roman.
We called Chill Roman.
Yeah. Is if you take Roman Reigns now, make him a face, you get Chill Roman.
It'd be Chill Roman.
It'd be Chill Roman.
Yeah.
Dang MQ, if NXT UK had War Games, who would be in it? We'd have Gallus. Gallus would be one team.
Gallus Boys on top.
Imagine if they would have done Gallus, British Strong Style, have Pete Dunne come back versus Imperium.
Oh, that's so good.
That's it.
That's so good. I like that. Oh, yeah, we had Flesh Mech Daniel Bryan.
He was the Rawgate whistleblower.
He was, yeah. God, that was a great story. We had that. We had
I think he broke Vince McMahon's leg in a ladder match.
I have been thinking about doing like like you used to have your best of HBK compilation tape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do like a best of compilation for Bonzo Gonzo.
Good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then of course, honestly, the creme de la creme, the provocateur, the auteur, the erotic filmmaker Eric Young, and his entourage Young Love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it was great. It was sexy like it should be. Anyways, we're gonna continue this madcap adventure of ours here on the Twitch. But this is done. We're done for the show. I stopped being able to talk properly.
Same. I mean, I started that way, so
I'm just thinking of We Book Raw. It's so good.
I know. There's so much fun stuff.
Yeah. Anyways,
so much fun stuff.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back tonight for our AEW recap. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.